One of the most common complaints that I get when I'm working with players that struggle out of the bunker is they say, you know, I would love to set up with my face open, but I'm just not comfortable doing that. I feel like when I do that, I just can't get anything out of the bunker. I always end up way too short. You know, what do I do? And then they'll come and they'll fight it and they'll set up with their face square and then they'll blast it way over the green or they'll leave it short in the bunker. How does any of this make sense? Let me go through and talk to you about exactly what happens and why you cannot, absolutely cannot keep the face square in the bunker if you want to be a great bunker player. Not one phenomenal bunker player has ever done that. So if you're doing pretty good with the face square, you could be amazing with the face open. You could be one of the best I've ever seen. I have got a ton of great videos coming out for you this year and I don't want you to miss out. Now the only way you're gonna see my latest releases is if you click that subscribe button down below. Go ahead and click that right now. Hit the thumbs up button, that really helps us out, and post your comments. I would love to hear from you. So let's go through first here. Imagine this face of this wedge. Let's talk about why, if this is the surface level of the bunker, why we don't want to have this face square. It has to be open like this. So whenever I set up to the face and it's square, look at what piece of metal. Imagine this is the surface of the bunker. Imagine this is a pond or a lake, and this is the surface of the water. Well, if I'm swinging down into this water and my face is square, look at what's going to grab that water. What's going to happen to this club? As soon as it breaks the surface level of the water, all that water is going to shoot up the face. Because of the angle of the face, it's going to shoot down into the water. Same thing happens in the sand. Now, I have to be really precise if I'm doing this. If the golf ball is here, if I hit a little too close to that golf ball with a square face and I swing hard enough to get out of this bunker, that ball is going to soar 50, 60 feet over the green. If I hit it just the perfect amount behind it, which if you're using a square face and you're getting good results, is probably what you're doing. You're just timing it up perfect, you get a pretty good result. And if I go a little too far back, now as that club shoots down into the surface of the water or the bunker or the sand, it's going to eat up all kinds of sand before it ever gets to the ball, and it's just not going to go out at all. So if I'm a little too close to the ball, let's go ahead and try one out here. I'm going to set up with a square face. I have a line so we can see where my club's going to enter relative to where this ball is set up. And I'm going to go ahead and try to hit about 2 or 3 inches behind this golf ball with the swing speed that I need to hit it out of here. There we go. So that was actually not that bad. Flew over the green, but you can see I actually was fairly precise in where I wanted to hit that. I'm about 3 inches. There's my inner zone. There's where the golf ball was. I'm about 3 inches or so behind the golf ball, and that thing still shot over the green. Now on the second one here, let me go ahead and try to hit a little farther back behind that. Same exact swing. Everything's going to be exactly the same. I'm just going to go a little farther back and see what happens. There we go. So that time, instead of being the 3 inches behind, I was about 6 inches behind. So I got what most people would recommend to do. Look how much sand I took up. That's because my club face shot down in the sand. The ball didn't go anywhere, barely got out of the bunker, and now I'm going to have to hit another wedge shot. So whenever I'm hitting these bunker shots with a square face, I've only got about an inch area in there that I can deliver the club to where it's going to shoot down in the sand, still hit enough ball to get it to go the right distance. It's just impossible to time. There's no way to do it. Now if I open this face, look at what's addressing the surface of the water now. This other piece of metal, this flange on the bottom of the club. Imagine as I'm swinging down into that, that's helping keep this kind of gliding across the surface, not digging in too much. And I can hit 6 inches behind, it just glides. I can hit 2 inches behind, and because the face is so open, it just goes up in the air and it doesn't shoot way over the green. So I can be anywhere back here and do pretty well. If I hit a little too close, it may go too far, but it's not going to be crazy. So here, let me try to hit a little closer to this golf ball. There we go, I really hit closer to that one. It's still barely off the green, and again, I was 3 inches behind the golf ball. So on that one, maybe not the perfect shot, the perfect result, but I'm still about 20 feet closer than I was with the square face. Now let me go ahead and hit way behind one here, and because that flange is open, it's going to glide through the sand, and let's see where this one ends up. There we go, so perfect on that one. Just barely past the flag. A little bit farther back. Let me go a little farther back than that. Let me really hit behind it to show you how far behind you can hit and still have a good shot. There you go, great example there. And this is a tough shot I got. I purposely picked a 40, 50 footer. But see there, I'm entering the sand 6 inches behind that golf ball, and because this bottom flange helped it to glide through, I'm still on the green with a pretty decent putt for this type of a bunker shot. So when you have the face square, it digs. Another way to think about this, I think is a really good analogy that I just heard, is imagine this leading edge of the club and the face of the club like water skis. So if I'm skiing along and my skis are kind of pointing up and gliding across the surface of the water, that would be like an open face wedge. Everything just glides right along. But as soon as the front of my skis tip over and catch the water, I'm gonna be eating a face full of water. As soon as my skis penetrate the top surface level of the water, I'm shooting down in there. Same thing's happening with your wedge shot here. As soon as I let that face start to square up at all, it's gonna be really tough. I'm gonna either leave it in the bunker or I'm gonna hit it way, way too long. Now the final thing I wanna leave you with here, the big mistake that players make whenever they do open up the face and they say, okay, I get the idea, but I'm still not getting the result, we have to swing incredibly hard. I have my 60-degree wedge here. You could use a 56, either one of those is fine. But I wanna have that face wide open here, and I'm gonna swing with the amount of speed I would of just basically a full swing. I'm really gonna feel like I put some power into it, and I wanna come down and I wanna thump that sand. I wanna kinda hit down into that sand. I wanna feel like I'm really hitting the back of the club, you know, popping that against the sand as I'm swinging down. I'm gonna let this flange keep it nice and shallow. Last thing I want to do is barely touch any sand. I want to really thump that sand hard. So finally here, let's go ahead and hit one more. Again, this is a tough bunker shot, 40, 50 feet, one of the toughest in the game. I'm going to open it wide open. I'm going to swing really hard, and I'm going to thump the sand behind the golf ball. There we go. Almost made that one. So the key to bunker shots, two things. Got to have that face open. Nobody's ever been a great bunker player without a wide open face. You won't see a single guy on the PGA Tour that's face doesn't look like this in the bunker. Number two, you got to swing hard, way harder than you think. And number three, don't try to pick that ball, thump that sand, hit down into it hard. Let the flange allow that club to glide through the bunker, and you're going to get out every single time. You're going to look like a pro out of the sand. All right, so now that we got these greenside bunkers licked, what do we do from here? Well, the purpose of getting up and down from a greenside bunker is basically just to score better. And the next piece of that is really mastering your wedges. I have an awesome bonus video for you. It's going to talk about how to hit those wedges nice and clean and really score better around the greens from 100 yards and in. I'm going to play a preview of that video here in a second. Just click the card on your screen or the link down below in the description. You'll get instant access to that video and you'll start knocking those wedges close too. I can't wait to help you out with your wedge game. Let's go ahead and get started. Pitch shot could be anywhere from right by the green all the way back to probably 50 or 60 yards or so. And that's what you're going to want to do when you want to get a little bit more spin and get the ball a little bit more up in the air. We're going to go ahead and let the wrist set a little bit more, have a little bit more club action, get the ball to go a little higher in the air with a little bit more spin. So let me go ahead and describe what is a good pitch shot so that you know what you're really going for. I think we got to start from there, start from contact. So as I make contact, I want to be coming in very shallow to the ground. So I don't want to be taking much of a divot. I don't want to be hitting down into the ground. As the club releases and we have a flat spot where the club travels very level with the ground for 5 or 6 inches on these pitch shots. So when that happens, let me go ahead and exaggerate. As my hand is coming down, my hands are close to the ground. As this club gets closer and closer to the ground, my hands move up. As the club moves down, now you're seeing them having this flat spot.